Welcome to the Weekender. This is episode 51. I'm Brandon Roberts, along with these two clowns. I got Chris Bishop over here, my co-host, and also president of the Nevada Association of Realtors. And I say that because we've also got Tom Blanchard here with the Las Vegas Association of Realtors, not officially representing them.
That's correct.
But he is the president there, and he also is the main broker, principal broker over at Renter's Warehouse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Hopefully this will be entertaining.
Well, with you on it, it'll definitely be entertaining.
Well, you know, I hate being so stuffed in a box, you know, and being the president sometimes puts you in a box of being this way, and I'm a guy that likes to be outside the box, or at least pushing the bounds.
Well, you're accomplishing your mission.
He didn't even have to try.
No. So Tom, you know, we've had many conversations about, you know, your role as board president and your expectations for your year and everything that's gone on, and then COVID hit, and you've had to completely cycle everything, right?
Yeah, you come into this position as president, you spend the year as the incoming president, and you plan and you have all these lofty goals, and then there's always apparently something that sidetracks you, and this just happened to be a worldwide pandemic.
So, but you still seem, with everything that went on, and I think that, you know, history picks the leader that will make it through, and I've got to say, I'm glad you were the leader this year. I think you've done a great job of making it work.
Well, I appreciate the kudos that I get, and I hear that a lot. But you know,
Hey, we're surprised.
I'm really surprised. I wrote that in.
but you know,
that's the real part of the show. We're being real. I mean, we're surprised, and we want to figure out why.
But most of the stuff that I had planned for my year was the stuff that we sort of had to implement.
Sure.
You know, member services, being more online, being more videos, being more techie, bringing LVR to the 22nd century, because we were still stuck in the 40s.
Sure.
You know, even with you as president,
Yeah,
we were still stuck in the 40s.
Hey, he did get.
Can you hear the horn from the bus that just ran me over? I can. No, it makes good sense, and I think the cool part is you had a background in, you know, running for office, for political office. You've been in front of the camera. You've done many interviews for different things, and you really do say what you feel. I mean, you're real about everything you talk about. Sometimes, you know, that's even funnier than anything else. But you know, you managed to take all of that and communicate with the membership in, I think, a way that really hadn't been done well. And I'll say that even as a past president.
No, you did a great job.
I know, but you got those videos out there, and I tuned in, and I know that hundreds of members actually tuned in, and so talk a little bit more about, you know, the vision behind that and how you got through it.
Getting through it, you just do it, right? You know, we were sitting here, camera comes on, and we just talk.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people freeze up, but I'm not really worried about what y'all think. So I just let you know what I think. So
you just bullshitted your way through.
Yeah. You know, if you're being real, whether it's something like this, or whether it's sitting across the table, the kitchen table, from a buyer or seller, the realism goes through, right? They see it, and they're going to feel comfortable with you. If you're completely canned in everything that you do, they see it, and they know because they've probably already heard it.
Sure.
From another guy right before them.
Yeah.
Not to turn my question into a thing about how to do a listing or selling presentation, but heck.
When you plan on moving.
Yeah. But you know, Tom, I've got to say, I've worked with a lot of people through my real estate career, and you know, people that really weren't involved at the board. And you actually, in the very beginning, 10 years ago, you weren't really that involved at all in Jail Bear. And I would probably say that you were the enemy. You were the one saying, what are they doing? They do nothing here. And then, I mean, if they had an award for most improved, I'd give it to you.
Well, you know, and people talk about how we don't communicate, how we don't have emails being open, there's not enough members being involved and member involvement and stuff. And I was one of those members.
Sure.
Right? I went 20 some odd years of never even stepping in the association except for going through orientation because I had to. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until AB 284 that came out, and I was like saying, what the heck are you guys thinking?
Yeah.
And
But what did you do? You got involved,
Well,
and
yeah.
you got it on the inside.
Yeah, because I couldn't fix it from the outside because y'all were doing such a great job blocking me because of the lobbyists.
And all good things run out. That's what we want
No,
to tell you.
because
How did you get in? That's all I want to know. How did you get in?
But Rocky, I remember when I was trying to fight the AB 284, and I was up there lobbying, and we were on the opposite sides, right? And I kept hearing about this Rocky Carrera, Nevada. It's like when I finally met him.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't like each other for a long time, and I'm not sure we still.
You
like
run into
each
that
other.
a lot, though, probably, right?
Yes. I mean, you have to hate me first to really like me.
My mother says you're like mold. You grow on people as you get there.
But it's because I speak my mind, and I'm going to fight for what I think is right.
As you should.
And it wasn't until I got involved
Yep.
and was able to understand what everybody was trying to do that I was able to finally come back onto the reservation.
Sure.
Because I remember one time with Jack Woodcock, who sat me down with a glass of wine and said, "Son, we can't have you going off the reservation now." And I had to think about what he was talking about. Going off the reservation, I'm just doing what I think is right. And it was the speaking with one voice with our political stuff makes a difference.
So let's talk about this, though. You made the point when you started that you didn't know what was going on the inside, you didn't see it, you didn't hear it, but you're now the president, and you've been working all year to communicate with the membership, and so they are sending out emails, they are sending out videos, they do have a process that goes through, but do you think many members just tune it out?
Yeah, and I understand it because everybody's busy doing their business. And until you come to a certain point in your career that allows you to all of a sudden pick your head up and look around and realize what's going on around you because you've been so stuck in trying to make it in this business, then and only then can you start getting involved because that's the time when you're ready.
Sure. We were just talking the other day about, a lot of members lately have been concerned about financial aspect of the association and, can I afford to pay my dues? What are they going to do to help me? I mean, you guys have come up with some pretty amazing programs to help people kind of delay that a little bit, those that are really struggling.
Yeah, look, this COVID-19 thing, this pandemic thing has affected everybody. And we all needed to take a step back and see what we could all do for each other.
Yeah.
Knowing that we still have bills to pay.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd love to be able to say I can defer payments. We can, the board can defer payments. We can say, forget about it. We have enough money. You don't have to pay. But we still have bills to pay. And it costs a lot to run the association and provide the services that we provide all the members. Whether they realize it or not, those hard costs are always there.
But people are still selling houses.
Oh, that's the whole thing. The whole thing is even though the building was closed, you were still functioning. We were still able to sell. We were still able to make a living. All the services were still
Key
there.
Works, the MLS was on.
Yeah. So I mean, it's. I don't think it's fair that people would think that you guys would forgive that.
Yeah.
So you guys were very flexible though in creating plans to make that a little bit alleviate some of the pain.
And and quite honestly, I don't think we'll feel the pain of all this for another maybe a year, maybe a half a year before something happens. I was you probably read it in the papers and see, Las Vegas housing market's on fire.
Yeah.
And we are. We've hit all kinds of different goals. And
you actually got to say the median price went above.
Yeah.
I was all year 305, 305, 305. What is it this month? 305. But you were able to go to into the 320s and now
and I'm hoping that it goes even higher.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, well, how can this happen during this period of time? And it's it's pretty simple.
People need a place to live.
And we're selling more expensive homes than we did before because there are no lower priced homes to buy.
So I'm going to point this out because this is the best day of my board life. Tom did an interview. I think it was the year I was president, and he did an interview, and the lady said, "Why are home prices going up?" And he said, "Because more rich people are buying houses."
Then not so rich.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense, right? But
it seems to work.
It was a funny point, but I think the other side about this that we should talk about while we're on here is that people have a misconception about what the LVR President does, or LVR President. Change the name of the association. That's me. What is it that a president really has to accomplish? What are you there for?
Oh, we don't have enough time.
We'll paraphrase it. You've been there.
Just tell us what you did.
Yeah.
We tried to keep the ship afloat.
Yeah.
Especially during a pandemic, right? You try to keep the ship afloat and try to. Every president should want to try to leave it a little bit better than it was before. I mean, it's a big ship, and you don't realize it until you're sitting in the chair and having to guide, not only the 15,000 members, but your board.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're not only guiding the membership, you're also trying to help guide the board in all of their different directions and their different personalities. So,
And once you're there, it's too late to really change a lot
Yeah.
because you're helping it go through its process.
yeah, I did probably my best work last year
When you're
as
president-elect.
president-elect.
Yeah.
And getting things set up for this year, and I'm glad I did because I would have gotten nothing done had I not already had pre-plans and pre-expectations.
Absolutely.
Because we would have just been COVID-19 set.
You guys have both done a fabulous job.
Well,
Adapting to the online meetings, the membership meeting online, the Zoom, that was pretty cool. You're about to have your convention,
Mhm.
Yep.
totally virtual. I mean, that's pretty neat
Well,
that you guys were able to turn and make that happen because
we had no choice.
Yeah.
you actually did. But I'm glad you stepped up to the challenge.
But I think everyone else had no choice. I think that was the reason why it worked so well is because the entire membership had to accept the fact that we have to work virtually. And it's not only for the reason of our business, but for our safety.
Yeah.
And so I think that that massive action had to happen to cause everyone to accept change. And
Yes,
I did speed up that, right?
Yeah, and we're very, very slow to change.
Yeah.
Right? And it takes a pandemic to kick us all in the ass and move us forward. And this pandemic did that because we've been talking about having electronic board meetings
Sure.
for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Since before
And no one wanted to do it.
No, right. No one
Yeah.
wanted to be in
Yeah.
front of the camera. And now we all have no choice. And so we're in front of the camera and it's not as bad
Yeah.
as you all, you think it is.
Agree.
Do you think they're ever going to want to come back to the real boardroom?
Turn it into a storage room.
I'm hoping that it becomes a hybrid. I miss the interaction, right? I miss this.
Amazing to say, isn't it?
Right? Yeah, it is.
Amazing to say.
I don't know if they miss it.
Well, no, I mean,
with
because
me, but
everyone thinks you go into this board meeting and you have an agenda out and that, we just make decisions, but it's not. I mean, there's a ton of work that goes into that, and it's not work that makes you personally any money. There's no money in this for you at all, other than the fact, you're on TV once in a while and people will know who you are and see you, but yeah, it's
We already knew you.
yeah, I know. Too many people knew
some
I
of
was
us
already.
are trying to, yeah. So, the elections. We have board elections coming up. They're supposed to announce it today. And, what do you think this year will be different than other years because of the pandemic?
I think that there is a hugely educated, great group of people that have identified themselves saying that they want to become involved in our association. And
Most ever, from my understanding.
yeah, it's going to be hard to choose.
Why is it going to be hard to choose?
Well, I mean, when you have great people running for office, it's hard to choose, right?
Well, yeah. But I mean, literally, there are some really great people that are coming from the outside, coming in, and it's going to be fun to see it. I'm looking forward. I don't know if I can. Has it come out yet?
No, I'm watching the email. The
Okay.
election guide's supposed to come out,
Yeah,
but I haven't seen
I don't
it.
want to get in trouble for letting the cat out of the bag. But
Well, we can let a couple people out of the bag.
Yeah.
Because I saw one yesterday on Facebook, Ellie Morris.
LA Morris was
Ellie, yeah,
Board
Ellie
of
Morris,
Directors.
right?
So he's announced.
Yeah.
And then,
I have an exciting one to announce. Should we talk about that?
Yeah.
here, well, let's just let Keith announce it. We'll just put it right up on the thing. He goes, 100% support for Brandon Roberts, President-elect, and it's not close. Yes, I am. Thank you, Keith.
Boom! Producers, boom!
I'm just glad this interview is going better than Keith's did, right? Just want to put that out there right now.
I don't know. Keith's comments are basically saying this one's going downhill. But no, I've actually put in to run for President-elect for
And I'm
next year.
glad-
So you've seen pain and agony,
Yeah.
and pain and agony, and now you're putting
And you
an
still want to do
application
it. But and that's the thing. We need great leaders to continue our motion forward. And I know you being elected, and I fully support your.
Well, I appreciate it.
But it'll be a great thing to follow after Aldo.
Mhm.
You know, is next year, and I think me, Aldo, and you would be a great move. And I'm looking forward to seeing how our association continues to move forward, because, you know, the pandemic's the pandemic, but the post-pandemic,
It'll change everything.
yeah, it's going to be completely weird, and without great leaders, you know, our association can suffer. And so I'm just glad to see, you know, you stepping up to the plate and providing your knowledge and insight and fair-handedness.
Well, I enjoyed the board when I was on it. You know, I got to serve with you guys as I was a director.
You were on for a while.
Yeah, 3 years there, and then I did 4 years on the state, 1 year on NAR. But I took a couple years off to get the company in order and stuff like that, so I could set myself up with the time to be able to put.
Because it's important. I mean, it's important. You don't realize how many hours
It does.
that, you know, you and I had to put in as president.
It's not one meeting a month.
No, it's not one.
What?
It's not. No, it's not one meeting a month. And you're continually getting bombarded with emails and phone calls from the members.
Nobody told me about email.
And text, emails, text. I mean, you name it, they try to contact you. And I try to alleviate some of it and
Sure.
put out a pressure valve by ask Tom anything, or, you know.
You get a lot of emails up there?
No. See, it was amazing. I thought I was going to set
So
myself up for disaster.
Just curiosity though, I was going to send you an email the other day, and I thought better of it. I was like, no, I can't. I don't want to, you know, bother Tom. He's so busy. But you really are there for people to ask you questions and interact with it and stuff. And
Yeah, I mean,
so how do I do it?
Well,
Are you really there?
Yes.
Come on.
The website, when you log on and your picture comes up.
So
our
our website, Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Cultural.
on the right-hand side, there's a thing that says Ask the President. All you do is click on there and ask your question.
Wow.
And an email comes to me and I answer it and it goes back to you. It was really simple, it was really great, and I cannot say enough about our tech at LVR. I mean, our CEO, Wendy, did some great hires.
Absolutely.
And, you know, built the website from scratch so that we own it and we're not anybody else's pawn. It's our data, it's our stuff, it's ours.
It's so nice to go on the website and actually see, you know, your picture and your information, your committee history. I mean, wow, Tom. I mean, talk about a vision. Talk about phasing, right? I mean, we're in phase 38 of this thing, and finally have gotten it done.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody wanted to do it. We just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, we're able to hire the right people that
Makes a difference.
provide us with the ability to do it. You know, it's just like this. I mean, the production value here, I'm surprised. I'm rather impressed. Well, I mean, you know, this is all new stuff, right?
Mhm.
And for you to come here and put this all together and have the switching stuff and the cameras and
The co-host.
tech. Well,
The co-host was big. That contract was hard to get.
yeah, the underpaid talent.
Whoa!
At least you called me talent. So let's change directions. We talked about the board. Congratulations, Brandon.
Yeah.
Definitely have 110% of my support, I know. And you'll do great at it. Let's talk about the market.
Yeah.
So in your part of the market, you guys have a ton of properties that you manage. And so you see a lot of property management issues that happen and come up. You were extremely involved with the issue that just came before the county commission on the rental issue.
Yep.
And you were a part of the PAG that I created at the state for property management issues. Talk about it. What do you see happening?
Well, let's get to the county commission ordinance first. The whole thing about the vouchers and everything else. You know, they don't have enough money to provide everybody with long-term ability to rent.
Yeah.
So it's more of a short-term fix.
Sure.
And one of the things that we talked about before they did the whole ordinance was that you can't force someone that wants to do a long-term lease, you know, a year, more than 6 months, to take a 3-month voucher.
Yeah.
Because you just can't do it. And they agreed, right? They know it's for short term. They know it's for apartment complexes. They know it's for the weeklies, you know, the monthlies. That's what the voucher program is really for. You know, Section 8's a different animal. It's been here. It's there. It always has been. They added that in there to help give it some oomph because everybody worried about Section 8. But it really doesn't affect us as property managers that are doing long-term rentals and long-term leasing. It only affects the short-term leasing part. Now, the eviction part, you know, that affects us, and quite honestly, does it really affect us?
Well, what do you think? I mean, September 1st is when they're going to lift the state eviction guidelines, or hopefully lift. I mean, it could get extended still. But what do you think? You've done a lot of interviews for it. You've been through the process. Do you think it's going to be a bloodbath? Do you think it's going to correct itself? I mean,
no,
find a way through it?
To use some vernacular that has been used for other stuff, they're going to try to flatten the curve of evictions through mediation. Sorry, I had to use that one. To use mediation and that kind of stuff so that the court system isn't inundated with all these and this becomes a full blockage. But I want to go to the evictions for the county ordinance. The evictions for the county ordinance, it says that we can't discriminate against somebody who's been evicted during the COVID-19 issue. I don't think anybody would really blame somebody if they have all the other, the wherewithal to be able to make the payments.
We did the same thing in the foreclosure crisis. We had people renting properties, and we would understand a short seller foreclosure because everyone had it.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't, you know, it's not really an issue.
But did it need to be, it wasn't regulated that way before, but we found a way to conduct business by
And we
doing
still
it.
will.
And we will anyway.
All we gotta do is treat everybody fairly and equally, which seems to be missing during this whole epidemic and current history, is that we just need to have some empathy, some understanding, and on both ends, right? Tenants need to understand that homeowners have mortgage payments to make payments, and you know, we just can't move the whole housing issue on the backs of homeowners.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that both of you do property management and understand it, and I think what we've seen is, I've seen more owners communicate than ever before, willingness to communicate. They're willing to fill out forms for their tenants to get stuff, and I've seen tenants, I believe, more communicative. Yeah, that's it. Sure. They've been talking.
That's the only way to get through this, really. I mean, if you're an owner and you want to go through an eviction process, it's going to take some time. And if you're a tenant, it's going to be tough to be evicted and find a property and make that transition. Your best bet is to negotiate and to figure out something that's going to work for both buyer and tenant.
And that's been the whole idea during this whole thing, is putting this all together and working with the state and the commissioners, is that we all want to work together. And we have finally been able to work together with some people that we haven't in the past. And it's been a good thing to all of us walk in the same step for the betterment of all of our community.
Yeah, agreed. Well, thank you, Tom, again. We appreciate you being here. Definitely appreciate your service to the association. And
you too. I mean, look, it hasn't been easy at the state level either, because I've been many times calling up Chris saying, you know, what the heck's going on? What the heck's going on? I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything.
That say that with his name on it.
So you guys put together some joint calls too that was pretty good between the two of you.
It's been hard. It hasn't been.
But it's been fun too to interact and to do that. Tom, just so we know, Brandon's moving on to new things and his excitement. What's next for you?
I guess I can announce that I'm running for the Nevada Realtors State Vice President position to run the state in, 3 years?
Sure.
Should I get elected? So,
well, congratulations. Congratulations.
I'm happy to do it. I have the time to do it. I think
you have the passion to do it?
I think it's necessary. We need to make sure that we have representation from across the whole state. So
and that election's done a little different than our local.
Yeah, it's done internally through the people that are on the state board.
So when you're voting for people on your local, those are the people that are initially going to be up on the state board that are going to make those decisions.
Yeah, so
true.
It's, all elections have consequences.
Wow, think about that for a minute.
Yeah, I know, because it wasn't easy. I'm sure to vote for me for anything.
Yes, it was.
Hey, it was. It was a good choice.
Was.
Yeah, and it's paid dividends because.
But it's been fun to turn the haters into likers, or at least somebody that's agreeable. Yeah.
Well, again, Tom, thank you for being here. We appreciate it, and like every interaction with you, it's an extreme pleasure, and I can't wait to see what happens the next time.
It's always fun. We can't go through this whole life being all upset and stuff. We got to have some laugh, some jocularity, and we'll all be good. But congratulations, buddy. I mean, it's going to be big.
And that's a good way to leave it. So thanks, you guys, and we'll see you next week.